Again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to day 5 of the Return Devotion. Today's topic is Help Me Obey. Let's begin by reading Psalm chapter 51 and verse 12. Restore to me again the joy of your salvation and make me willing to obey you. Restoration is not only about having a clean heart with clean thoughts and right desires. Restoration includes the willingness to obey God, to follow through with right living. The wonderful thing about obeying God is that He doesn't make you do it on your own. From cleansing you and making you whiter than snow, God also begins to fill your clean hearts with clean thoughts and right desires. Not only that, but God also gives us the power, the strength, and the ability to follow and obey Him. In Philippians chapter 2, verse 13, it says exactly that. Let's read it. For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for His good pleasure. This verse tells us that God does not only give us the desire to follow and obey Him, but He also gives us the power, the strength, and the ability to obey Him. So not only the desire, not only does God put the desires in your heart, He already cleansed your heart, now He's putting right desires in your heart. Not only does God give you the right desire, He doesn't only give you godly desires, but He also gives you the power, the strength, and the ability to obey Him. I often hear from both unbelievers and believers, they say it is hard to obey God. The difficulty in obeying God comes when we shortcut the process or when we don't follow the process of God. Many try to change their lives by first trying to obey God. This is when obeying God becomes impossible. The ability to obey God begins first by returning to God with a broken and repentant heart. From there, the acknowledgement and the confession of sin is required. Then the cleansing through God's forgiveness, followed by restoration. Restoration is when God begins to fill your heart with clean thoughts and right desires. It is only then when we will be able to successfully obey God. So you have to go through the right process. From returning to God with a broken and repentant heart, to the admitting or the acknowledging and confessing of sin, to the pleading of God's forgiveness, allowing Him to cleanse you, then Him forgiving you and restoring you by putting clean thoughts and clean desires, new desires in your heart. From there and only there can we begin to obey God successfully. With that, I'm going to encourage you to now go back to day 1 of the Return Devotion and ask God to lead you in the process so that you can successfully obey Him. Tomorrow will be our final devotion of the return, and we will talk about telling others. God bless you.